This is Persuasive Speech, take 7. Timer starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, all men and women are created equal. This is an unquestionable fact, and it has been an unquestionable fact since the beginning of humanity. There is no questioning it. There is no denying it. However, let me present to you a more controversial question, a question that is a bit more open-ended. Does this statement also apply to cultures? Are all cultures created equal? Are there some cultures out in the world that are better for humanity, that help humanity, and should therefore be preserved? And likewise, are there other cultures in the world that are worse than others, and that damage humanity, and should therefore be forgotten or done away with? The answer to this question, ladies and gentlemen, I believe to be yes. Now, many of you would vehemently disagree with me, and you would say that all cultures are equal. Well, then you would be taking a multiculturalist approach. What multiculturalism is the belief that all cultures have equal value and equal weight to them, and that their beliefs, political systems, values, arts, language, and literature are all equal and have a valuable place in society. Many European and Western countries have adopted this policy of multiculturalism, and the reason why is because they feel that the more culturally diverse they are, the greater the pool of knowledge they have to draw from, and therefore the greater their countries will be as a result. And we especially see that argument used here in America. We see more and more again that America is great because America is culturally diverse. Well, this statement is fundamentally flawed. America is not culturally diverse. America is ethnically diverse. Although we may come from different backgrounds ethnically, the fact of the matter is that we have all assimilated into the American culture. America has a culture, in fact. What is this culture? This culture is a continuation of Western civilization. It is a Western culture. Such a Western culture which was born from the minds of the ancient Athenians. This culture embodies freedom, equality, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. It praises innovation and progress, and it cherishes the rule of law. These kind of characteristics are not just for America and not just for American Western civilization, but they are also for Europe. For Europe is the birthplace of Western civilization, and it is the fountain of Western culture, or at least it used to be. You see, after World War II, Europe began to adopt more and more multiculturalist policies into its laws. And so we see that in the years following World War II, as more and more immigrants poured into Europe, carrying their own cultures, ideologies, and beliefs, instead of Europe asking them to assimilate into European culture and to European values, these people were encouraged to keep their own values from their old countries. This, ladies and gentlemen, has been Europe's greatest mistake of the 21st century. If you don't believe me, just ask German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who used to be one of the most passionate supporters of multiculturalism. She said that multiculturalism in Europe had failed. This failure is because not all cultures are equal. Some cultures are better than others, and in fact, some cultures are downright toxic and dangerous to other cultures. Specifically, I'm talking about how Europe allowed for the flourishing of a specific culture in its borders that has been downright oppressive, that has been outright contradictory to Western values and fundamental Western beliefs, so much so that this one culture is causing the destruction of Western civilization and Western culture itself. This culture is the culture of Islam. Now, before I continue, I want to make a clear distinction. I'm not talking about Arab culture. I'm talking about Islamic culture. Arab culture is a bright, shining light. Arab culture is beautiful and deserves to be on the world stage. Sadly, though, Islamic culture casts a shadow over Arab culture to the point where we can barely even see the light of Arab culture. You see, plainly speaking, Islamic culture is backwards, and it is destructive, and it is dangerous. Islamic culture is violent. 8% of Muslim Americans believe that terrorism is justifiable, and although that seems like a small number, the fact of the matter is that if you apply that to the 1.8 billion Muslims that are alive today, it leads to a number of 144 million Muslims who believe that terrorism is justifiable. This is even a conservative estimate, as a poll conducted by USA Today concluded that France has 16% of Muslims who believe that terrorism is justifiable. France, of all places. To continue, Islam is a very bigoted culture. Women are oppressed and their freedoms are taken away from them, and they are reduced to the level of property. This comes into sharp contrast with European culture, which has historically uplifted women, liberated women, and given women more freedom. If that wasn't enough, Islamic culture also promotes backward political ideologies. For example, Sharia law. Sharia law, which has been implemented by most Islamic cultures and countries, is one of the most oppressive systems of law in the world. This is because Sharia law destroys freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and it encourages cruel and unusual punishment, and the atrocities go on, and all of these go into direct contradiction to the fundamentals of Western society and of European society. What can we conclude from this, ladies and gentlemen? Well, before I go on, I want to address a counter-argument that is often made to my argument that I'm making right now, and that is that the majority of Muslims are peaceful and tolerant people. And to that, I would say that those peaceful and tolerant Muslims are not actually following Islam. If you truly are following Islam, you would follow what the Quran says, and the Quran clearly states that we should kill those who do not follow the ways of Allah or Muhammad. We should kill the infidels, in a sense. This is true Islam. And when I'm talking about Islamic culture, I am talking about the people who are truly Islamic, who believe these things. Those people who do not, those people who are tolerant and who are loving and peaceful, resemble more European culture, if anything else. Resemble more Western culture, if anything else. To continue, Europe's continued tolerance towards this corrupt and toxic system of culture is causing Europe to fall into an identity crisis. Since they are not stopping this tide, more and more people are converting to Islam, to the point where Muhammad was the most popular name for boys in the UK in 2017. What can Europe do about this? Well, Europe can demolish its multiculturalist policies and begin to take pride once more in its Western values. But will Europe do this? Probably not. Which is why it is up to us, citizens of the United States of America, one of the last Western culture refuges in the world, to hold back against inferior cultures, to recognize that some cultures are indeed better than others. We should praise cultures which uplift humanity, and we should get rid of cultures which damage humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can do this, we can create a more progressive and good, peaceful world that allows all cultures of worth and of greatness to flourish. Thank you. Time is, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, here it says 8 minutes. So here it says 8:06, but I'm going to go by this clock, 8 minutes, and I think that was fine. Thank you. I love you, Pablo. Bye.